Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, sunshine.
Good morning.
Hello. Okay, wait a second. Y'all just gotta let me get this fangirl moment out. Like, I'm sorry. Okay. All right. I'm back. Back like we never left. Good morning and welcome to Fay at 5.
Thank you.
It is an honor to have you both on the 10 line. When I tell you I could just hang it up today and say, Mama, I have made it. This is the moment. Listen, I've been practicing my lines, right? Oh, Charlie, don't leave me. And how was that? I'm working on it. Not quite.
You have courage.
I have nothing else. You have courage.
That's it.
Today we have none other than Joe Morton and the Tracey Moore. You both have been in this industry, making it happen and paving the way for so long. And we appreciate you for everything that you have done and the things that you're continuing to do. How did you know that the arts and the art of keeping art alive would be a passion of yours and you wanted to turn this into the journey of life?
Well, I'll say theater. I'll tell you how I knew. I was 12 years old in San Francisco, born and raised, and I went to ACT to see For Colored Girls Who Have Considered Suicide When the Rainbow Is Enough. And I looked at my mother and I just remember looking at her and saying to myself, my mother really loves me because this is what I want to do. How did she know? And I didn't know at the time, but I resonated with all of the amazing actresses on that stage. And I felt like my purpose in life was to work with actors. At 12 years old, I really felt, but I connected with theater. Theater was my love and continues to be my love.
And for me, the same thing. I was entering Hofstra University. It was the first day of orientation. They took us around the campus to show us what our life would be like that first year. They took us into a theater and they put on a skit about, the first year at Hofstra University, at the end of which I could not get up out of my seat. I just sat there staring at the stage. Had nothing to do with the skit, had everything to do with the facility and that work light on the stage. And I thought I'd been writing music for a while. I really enjoyed that. Maybe I could be an actor. And I finally got up, walked to the registrar's office, because I had entered as a psychology major and changed all my majors from psychology to drama.
Wow. And here we are. And it's just like when it's your purpose and you turn it into a passion, you begin paving the way for so many others by being responsible with your platforms. And here we are today talking about the 10-part series that you all are working on, Inside the Black Box. I have questions that need answers. Okay. Tell me a little bit about the vision of Inside the Black Box.
18 years ago, I found myself with my colleagues just talking about the frustrations that we have as people of color in this entertainment business. I often found myself the only person of color in the room as well. And so instead of talking among ourselves, I wanted to create a platform for actors to showcase their talent, which is important. And we also play theater games. I think that what we do is introduce actors to and reinforce to actors the tools that they need to be actors. So that was important to give that. And then also have the ability to speak our truths and to speak about the obstacles and hurdles that did not prevent us from giving up nor making a way. I come from guerrilla filmmaking. So Just Another Girl in the IRT was my first film. My apartment was a holding area. I location scouted, I did makeup, whatever we had to do to make that project, everybody was all in. And that is the foundation of which I come from by any means necessary in filmmaking. And so this just became a vehicle to combine all of that with, the gems that our amazing guests give, from Felicia Rashad to Da Vinci. And also, it's empowering to be able to share a story that we all have a common denominator. And so it gives you this comfort that you're not on this journey alone. And it also empowers you that you can make it through if you don't give up and persevere and have patience.
Right. And Mr. Morton, with you, how important is it that representation is really at that table? Now you see a generation that they like to call a lost generation. And maybe, sometimes it feels as if the blind is leading the blind. And with everybody being such instantly gratified through instant messaging or through a hashtag and a retweet, nobody's really putting in their work and putting skin in the game because they could just become insta famous and they think this is it. But you've been at this for years and you understand putting in the work and honing it in your craft. How important is it that people sit at that table and remind us to put in the work and not just be some bubblegum fluke or fly by night, that this is really something that we have to work on?
I think that's the message that you get from the guests that come on our show, that patience and perseverance are very, very important. In terms of your asking me about sitting at the table, if you're not at the table, nothing gets done, because that means you're not there. There's no representation of the kinds of things you want to accomplish. What this show and the guests who come on the show talk about is all the things that they've done. Marquand Smith comes on the show. He created Godfather of Harlem. It took him 18 years to get that on. And he said, if you're not willing to eat tuna fish sandwiches and sleep on somebody's floor, or ask for a buddy pass so that you can make a meeting, then you're not putting in the work. And that's really what it takes. If you're a carpenter, you need wood. You need somebody to teach you about tools. You need somebody to teach you about how wood responds to certain weather, et cetera, et cetera. Right. So we could really be talking about almost any business, but we are specifically talking about this business because that's what Tracey and I know. But the idea is that without perseverance and without patience, none of this gets done. And belief. You have to believe not only in who you are, but what you are and what it is you're trying to achieve.
Exactly. And even now with this being available and streaming on Crackle, before it got to that point, before you were able to get it on that platform, I'm pretty sure you were faced with some obstacles. Did you have that fork in the road to say, you know what, this is a great idea, but is it really worth it? Did you have that moment? Do they still come, or is it now just on autopilot for you?
No, I'm eternally grateful every single day. And it was a challenge because from 18 years to 2016, there was movement. But once we attached Emmy Award-winning Joe Morton, the wheels started to churn, the interest peaked, and we're here today. I think it's important that actors, people, just creative people in general, it takes time to create. It takes time to shape and mold. And so I feel like with immediate gratification that people tend to go in the direction of the fame or the notoriety, but is that going to create longevity of a career of Joe Morton? Or Joe, as a casting director, Joe is not a Black actor. Joe is an actor. And it would be great for all people of color to be seen as actors first and then be specific. We need an African-American man, mid-50s, blah, 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 blah. We do have to cast to the authenticity of the story. But when films, we see breakdowns, if it was written for a white man, no doubt they would change it if Joe Morton's name came up. And it would be for him. So that's important for us as people of color to be recognized like that, because we don't. We are. That's true. It's visual first. Yeah,
that's true.
I mean, it has happened. I mean, first of all, it was 18 years ago that Tracey came up with this idea, and even after I joined, it took us 6 years to get the show in front of the camera.
Wow.
So nothing, just because I joined, it wasn't like, boom, suddenly there it was. No, it wasn't. We had to go through all kinds of things in order to get people to finally say, all right, we'll put the money behind this and make this happen. And yes, I think it's important to understand that you can overcome all of this other stuff. I have been in a position, I did a series years ago called Equal Justice. Thomas Carter, who was a Black producer, director, was in charge of what was going on. And Thomas wanted me in the show. There were 2 lead roles. And by the end of all of the auditions, myself and a wonderful white actor, Cotter Smith, were up for these 2 lead roles. But Thomas did not know which role he wanted to give me. He was afraid that if he gave me the lead role in that series, the series would be looked on as a Black series. And he wasn't sure if that wouldn't hurt the series or not. Now, he gave me that role, and that was great. But the other sort of ramification of that was I would walk down the street and people say, oh, we heard about it, congratulations. But at that time, they would only hire 1 Black actor in a show. So we're trying to overcome all those kinds of things. And the more, to get back to your original question, the more that we have representation, the more we are at the table, the more those things go away. And they have begun to do so.
That's awesome. And just to hear your stories and to hear how transparent you are about it taking time and having to align your vision with like-minded individuals. Because sometimes, you know, we get lost in the smoke. It's a lot. You want to do the right thing. You really want to be responsible with your platform. This is my 25th year in broadcasting, and we're just entertaining the conversation of syndication, you know, and as a woman of color, I really feel as if, look, I have proven myself. I've shown the numbers. What are you waiting on? But if I were to sit still, the story ends there. And just hearing from you all saying that we still have to push through. Yes, it was 18 years in the making. It was 6 years after I joined, and we still have to get those in the room to change the narrative and to create our story and to path something other than ourselves and lead for others. Like that's what you're doing. I mean, just continue to do that. You're making me so proud in what you do. I am cheering for you. I'm going to be posted up in front of Crackle, talking about, yeah, that's my cousin on Auntie Mary and them side. Now the outside is beginning to reopen. Whenever you make your field trip to Louisiana, I expect to see you. King cake, beignets, crawfish, whatever you need.
Yes, gumbo.
And thank you all so much for taking time out of your schedule. Think of this as an extension of your office, and I look forward to seeing you back real soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Anytime. I love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it.
We give it back.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Bye, John. Thank you, John. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.